Afternoon all. We're live in my kitchen, nearly 3. Nice to see you. Hope everyone's well. Just bought my kettle. Happy Easter. A bit late, but you know, hope we've got eggs. I don't know what it's like for everyone else. There's a bit of an egg shortage around my way. Couldn't get any eggs anywhere. I don't know if there'll be any eggs, but couldn't get a lot of eggs. All sold out. Normally I'm down the supermarket for a cheap egg after Easter, and there's none left. Jaffa cakes today. Love the Jaffa cake, as everybody knows. Episode 59. Happy days. And we're going to talk about people today that sometimes we find it a little bit harder to get on with at work. That's what I'll talk about. But I've got a question, and because I'm a bit desolate about Easter, as you can probably tell, my question today it's kind of a bit multifaceted, but it is about Easter eggs, obviously. And so what I want to know, I just Googled this, so the answer I'm going with. This year, 2021, how much was the most expensive Easter egg you could buy in England, or the UK, I think, actually? How much was it? How much did that egg cost? And also, I'll also go, how big was it? How big was it in height? And I'll go inches or centimetres, I don't mind. So how much did the biggest egg cost, and how big was it in inches or centimetres? My question. How much is the most expensive Easter egg? And it's not diamond encrusted or anything. It's just like chocolate. That's it. Wow, £15,000. That'd be. How big do you reckon that egg is for 15 grand? That's a big egg, isn't it? That's got to be big. How many inches do you reckon? How many inches do you reckon you get for £15,000? This one's probably going to have to be censored. Is that you, Paul? Is that Rico? Is that you, Paul Rico? Is that? It's 6'4". That's a lot of inches, mate. That's 76 inches. I'm good at maths. £695. Kev Hutchinson, £1,500 notes. Yeah, somewhere. That's a fair shout, actually, Kev. That's a fair shout. I don't think it was from Harrods, actually. Never. Oh, it's good to have you here, mate. Nice to see you. Anyway, well, not see you, but see you typing. Anyway, I was supposed to better do what I meant to be doing. 95 centimetres. I don't know what is that? That's about 40 inches, I think. 36 inches, I think. Something like that. Because I'm just instantly turn it on like that. Right, what are we doing? Oh, yeah, people. Good. Everyone's a good egg. Good. Nice. The comments. A few people on today. That's lovely. Everybody's getting back into swing. Anyway, difficult people. So I thought I'd talk about, what was the question today, mate? Was how big is the biggest Easter egg that you could buy in the UK in inches or centimetres, so in height, and how much did it cost? And it's not diamond encrusted or anything. It is just a chocolate egg. There might be a diamond encrusted egg, but I'm just after the biggest chocolate egg you could buy in inches or centimetres. And just to clarify, Paul Richardson believes there's an egg the same height as me, well, a little bit shorter. So rest assured, we know Paul Richardson's wrong. That's the most important thing. Egg that big, that'd be great. It's not that. Anyway, right. So people, difficult people. I'll just do this. It's a question that comes up a lot whenever I'm training. It always comes up about relationships, and I don't get on with people and co-workers, people like that. It's a bit like family, because you can't really choose them. You can't really pick them all the time. Now one of the things you'll often hear, yeah, you're inside it, Paul. Yeah. One of the things that people sometimes say is, do you have to engage with that person? And avoiding a problem doesn't really solve the problem. So that's what we're going to try and talk about, is how can we make it just that little bit better. So we talk about this as a potential growth area rather than a grown area. So if it was a grown area, it would just mean you would have more to give, really. Because what we're keen is that you do learn, you adapt, and you learn to change behaviours. So you stretch, adapt. And that's a bit like 200 centimetres. That's quite big. That's quite a big egg. So, like, if people go to the gym, kind of stretch and and kind of get everything flexed to make sure you don't pull muscles. And it's kind of a bit like that with this. You kind of got to challenge yourself and stretch and exercise those kind of skills that you've got to get a better relationship. The better relationships you have with the people you work with, the greater your influence. So that's a huge benefit of it. I'm pretty sure we all know that. So I think one of the first things we're going to ask, and we know this, is it them or is it me? So where is the problem? And 9 times out of 10, we come down with that answer of, well, it's them, actually. It's pretty definitely them. And we've got to be careful here. I've done a tier 3 earlier about unconscious bias. And one of those unconscious biases is about attribution bias. And so just as an example of what I'm talking about, the attribution bias, it's kind of if I'm going somewhere late, I kind of go, oh, that's because the trains were bad, or you know, something along those lines. You know, it was out of my control. It was the trains that are late. Whereas sometimes when we see somebody else, what we do is say, oh, I bet they didn't really want to be here, or I bet they're lazy, I bet they left it to the last minute. And I think we can do that sometimes with the challenging people. We see that sometimes perhaps the faults in the others that we'd never see in ourselves. So we can't always change the person, and I think sometimes we get into that circle of trying to change the other person. What we've got to think about is, can we change our reaction to that person? People often say, you know, you don't know what patience is until your patience is tested, and that's a little bit the same with like tolerance and acceptance of other. So if you get incensed or you're intolerant with people you work, that's sometimes because that's inside you as well, and that's kind of what we've got to change. So what we've got to think about is not what's happening, but why do I react? What's that emotional trigger that's going to happen? Now, I think sometimes what we can do is we kind of see some of those things going on inside us as well. So for an example, that I don't know, if somebody's particularly stubborn, and it's like, oh, this person's very stubborn and they never take on my ideas, and that could be because we're almost equally stubborn as well. It could be along those kind of lines where we just struggle to get on with somebody because there's a little bit of ourselves in them. So sometimes we transfer those feelings. People will say, just have a conversation there. You know, your work colleagues, just have that open conversation, and that's probably one of the hardest things to do. But what we've got to try and avoid doing is just talking to someone else about it. So we want to get away from gossip or something along those lines. Remember, if you have a thought in your mind, if you translate it into words, it can then become actions. Once it becomes an action, it becomes consistent, and then that consistency can become your legacy. So thoughts, words, actions, consistency, legacy. So what we want to do, okay, you might have a confidant, you might have a coach or a mentor, somebody you want to talk to it about, but that's better than just getting by the photocopier and saying, oh, is it just me, or do you think Dave's a bit of a numpty? So we've got to do a little bit better than that. Think about as well, as I said at the start, you know, sometimes we can't choose our family. We do choose our friends. And of course, what we do there is we understand them a lot better. Because we've kind of picked them. And so if something in that relationship doesn't work, what we're prepared to do is we're prepared to understand, we're prepared to ask, we're prepared to talk it through, we're prepared to kind of counter off our emotions for theirs a little. So we've learned there to not just purely react to what that other person's saying, but also respond. So I think sometimes at work we can do that thing around, well, is this what I'd say to my mate? Is this how I deal with this? Now you could say, well, I've got a really good relationship with my friend and I can tell him if he's being a pain or her or whatever. And you know, in an ideal world, work should be like that. So my tips here really, understand the other person. Take that bit of time, hold the mirror up to yourself. Am I doing everything that I can do to just make it that little bit better? Understanding, do I get why they said what they said? What about is this over the other side of the office who never has a problem with this person? It just seems to work quite easily. You know, I've been at work a long time, and it took me quite a long while to realise that not everybody thinks like me, and they behave, Their brain doesn't move in the same way. As an example, I think out loud. And so as I sing, they'll just come out of my mouth. And that can kind of people because it looks like I change my mind, which I do as I talk through an idea. And that can be frustrating. People who know me will know, preparation is not what I'm going to do loads of. And that can frustrate because it makes them believe I don't care, or it could do. And so I think it's just about that understanding the different styles. And again, spoken about these things at Tier 3. But for me, it's just, can I just pause, just hold that idea for 1, 2, 3 seconds before I respond? What's going to happen if I say this? And I've said this to Fran. This is over lockdown. I seem to act as a confidant for a lot of my friends. And they'll say, what will happen? I'll say, well, what is the benefit in you pushing that back? What good is going to come out of that? And that doesn't matter whether it's a personal or professional conversation. What is the benefit in you pressing send on that email or making that statement? Is that, oh, make me feel better? Okay, it might make you feel better in the moment, but is it going to have a better reaction in the scenario? So it's a learn about respond and not react. Just a pause, just a little bit of mindfulness. And I think we tend to have that little bit more time now that we can take that in and think. All right. Now, eggs provoked a huge amount of debate here. Got £15,000, £700, 6'4", 1,500 quid, 18 inches high. What else? 95 centimeters, Clark. You've got. You're really hoping a lot there, Clark. 200 centimeters from mind you, 200 centimeters from Sam. It was. I've got it written down. I'm sorry, I've dropped it. It was. It weighed 10 kilograms. I didn't ask you that, but I'll just tell you that. It cost £400. It was 29 inches high. What shop are we in? I don't know. I just Googled it. I just Googled biggest Easter egg. It was online. Emporium, I think it's called. I'll Google it live. It's 29 inches high, which is 75 centimeters. Don't know if you've got that. 29 inches. It's 20 centimeters wide. And it cost £400. Let's have a look. Biggest Easter egg. It was very biggest Easter egg. Actually, there's one there for 1,600 quid. That was, oh, here we go. That might be it. Chocolatier. It's quite exciting. The Blowing Dandelion Giant Galaxy Egg. Number 1. There it is. £400, 10 kilograms. Blowing Dandelion. Free advertising. Other Easter eggs were available. Anyway, that's it. Blowing Dandelion. 400 quid, 10 kilogram egg. Enjoy your eggs. I've only got a little Cadbury's cream egg, but I might take that on. I did have some mini eggs, orange Smarties, actually. Lovely to see some people. Wow, there you go. Every day's a learning day, Paul. Enjoy your tea, enjoy your biscuits. I look forward to seeing you next week for our diamond celebration. It's anniversary time, episode 60 next week. I'm so looking forward to it. Have a great afternoon, everyone.